Welcome to this edition of Ask the Mayor. Today we have two interesting topics to bring to you. Each topic relates to the city of Douglasville and our community in which we live, work, and play. So stay tuned for this edition of Ask the Mayor.
My name's Marsha Hampton, Community and Downtown Services Director. My City TV is downtown.
Open your door. Visit Nature Explore. Parents, go online at arborday.org.
It has to do with the whole being outside thing.
Thank you for joining me today. We are quickly approaching an annual event celebrated across the state of Georgia, known as Georgia Cities Week. This event is sponsored by the Georgia Municipal Association and is designed to showcase and celebrate cities and the many services they offer. The intent of Georgia Cities Week is to provide a broader awareness of the role of cities. Cities provide a higher level of service than most governments. Generally, they are rated higher by the public than other levels of government. They provide a greater direction to the citizens. The celebration of Georgia Cities Week involves local schools, businesses, legislators, the Chamber of Commerce, the media, and other civic clubs. Each year the event has a theme, and this year's theme is Georgia Cities, a Story to Tell. Douglasville offers a large assortment of events as part of Georgia Cities Week. I encourage you to call Marsha Hampton. Marsha is our Community Service Director to receive a complete listing of all activities. However, for today's program, I would like to highlight a few events we are sponsoring for Georgia Cities Week. During Georgia Cities Week, over 100 second graders will tour City Hall. Their day begins with a visit to my office, and occasionally I have students request to actually sit in my chair, and so possibly someday they will become involved in their community. The second graders walk down to visit Fire Station 10, where they will tour the facilities. They'll get an opportunity to see the fire engine, the fireman's gear up close, and the highlight of their visit is always the very large ladder truck that they have down there. Our Douglasville Police Department, the K-9 unit, holds a demonstration for those students, and the day is completed with a mock session of the Douglasville City Council. This mock session gives the students a better understanding of how government works. It's always interesting to see the topics that they place on the agenda for that meeting. I can recall one year they had a special vote to recognize, of all things, Godzilla as the city mascot. One year they voted for a new water park to be built in downtown Douglasville. It's most interesting to see what second graders will find important. It is personally a rewarding and a fun time for all that are involved. Last year, City TV joined others to sponsor a public service announcement contest among our area schools. We had several participants and recognized the grand prize winner at a special reception. This contest uses the creativity of our local schools and the students to write and develop a public service announcement around the theme of Georgia Cities Week, and the winning PSA is produced by our very own City TV. The public service announcement airs on City TV throughout the broadcast schedule over the next year, and the winning PSA is displayed at a special reception in our downtown conference center. Several very good scripts have been submitted for this year's theme, Georgia Cities, a Story to Tell. This year we are also introducing the acknowledgement of the essay entries. Sixth graders from schools throughout the city and the county will have an opportunity to submit a one-page entry on the topic, If I Were Mayor for One Day. These essays are always most enlightening and sometimes provide some very practical solutions. We will determine the top entries submitted from the City of Douglasville area. This student will read their essay entry at the reception and will appear on a future Ask the Mayor TV program. The joy of interacting with the younger people in our community is always a very special treat for me. If you have further questions about Georgia Cities Week or questions about how to become involved, contact the City of Douglasville at City Hall. The number is 770-920-3000. When we return, I'll be speaking with Marcia Hampton about another very important event, the Georgia Downtown Conference. The City of Douglasville was privileged to host this event last October. We'll be right back with more of Ask the Mayor.
Hello everyone, I'm Sahana Turner reporting live from downtown Douglasville, where several Eastside Elementary School students are here to show you how to live it up downtown.
Come downtown to O'Neill Plaza for the Taste for Douglasville's Arts Festival. Or maybe you'd rather come for the spring concert.
Come downtown for the food, like seafood at Douglasville's finest Cajun Cafe, gumbos.
Come downtown to the theater in the Old Courthouse Museum to see a production by $1 players.
Come downtown to the Cultural Arts Center in the historic Robert Mosley House for art exhibits and concerts.
Or maybe you'd rather see a family or kid-friendly production.
There you have it. Eastside students really know how to live it up downtown. Why don't you plan a trip to downtown Douglasville where you can live it up too?
We're living it up downtown.
Well, welcome to today's Ask the Mayor program. With me today, I have a very special guest, Marcia Hampton.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Marcia, for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Marcia is the Community and Downtown Services Director for the City of Douglasville. Does a great job.
Thank you.
Of course, on the Ask the Mayor program, you know, really this is designed for folks that ask me questions from time to time, and we're gonna answer one of those questions today that someone asked me. But before we start and we get to that part of the program, I know you have a program, you and Jeff Knowles. It's a great program. As a matter of fact, on City TV, I think it's one of the most widely viewed programs that we have. You guys do a great job. Got a lot of comedy in it and everything. So I've watched it frequently and I like it. But folks probably know you from the TV program that you and Jeff have, but can you tell our audience and our viewers a little bit about your job and what you're responsible for and what you do for the City of Douglasville?
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Gov 101 is fun, but you know, Jeff and I do actually have a real job, so in case people think that we cut up on TV all the time. What I do in the Community and Downtown Services Department is head up the department, and most people see me either at different events and functions, because typically our department handles things like the 4th of July parade, the Christmas event, and a lot of those are activities that are sponsored by our Downtown Development Authority. That is part of the department through our Main Street program, our conference center, which is managed by Jennifer Bean, that's also in this department, our Convention and Visitors Bureau, which Anita Ford, she's a new director, she's just come on board a couple months ago. That department is within this department as well. So anything that's kind of community oriented via tourism, the conference center, the Main Street program and downtown development, and then also historic preservation as well. Those are all things that are in the department that we work with every day. We're a pretty small department, but we do have a lot of large activities, as you know, that go on.
Sure. Anything that's visible in the city, in the downtown area, typically falls under your department.
Yes, sir.
Well, one of the questions that I was asked several days ago is, what were all those people doing in the downtown area? All the hotels were full and the restaurants were full and people were all over the downtown area. on the streets. And can you just tell us a little bit about what happened here in the city of Douglasville with respect to all those folks that were here?
Well, Douglasville was host to the annual Georgia Downtown Association Conference. It's a conference that's held annually through the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, the Georgia Municipal Association, and the Georgia Downtown Association. It's a conference where elected officials, staff members from other municipalities and counties, and volunteers and board members have the opportunity to network and then also learn kind of tricks of the trade, as you would call it, and get educated. And this is the one conference that we have per year.
Well, I know there are two acronyms, that is GDA and DCA. Can you tell us what those are and really what those organizations do?
The Georgia Downtown Association is a nonprofit organization. I serve on the board. This is my second year serving on the board, and I am vice president this year and was actually a conference co-chair. The city government, you guys, the elected officials, allow certain staff members from other organizations participate. This is something that you do during work hours, but what the organization does through volunteering and networking is provide advocacies for all the downtown cities that are out there through education, just kind of getting the word out, having a network of downtown managers and people who are interested in the downtown area, and being able to work with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, which is DCA, which is a state organization that helps to provide funding as well as educational opportunities and all sorts of other things that don't necessarily deal with downtown, such as housing and finance.
Sure.
So DCA is a large organization through this state.
Well, that was a very large conference. There were a lot of people in Douglasville, and now that you've explained to us what it is, and I assume you had visitors and people that were participating from a lot of different cities. How many cities were represented in this meeting?
The Georgia Downtown Association, getting my acronyms correct, GDA, the nonprofit organization, is a membership-driven organization as well, and we have about 300 members, and that's basically 300 either states or boards represented. We had approximately 125 of those local governments participating in the organization, whether they sent their staff member, a board member, or an elected official to the conference.
And some cities, I'm sure, sent more than one.
Yeah, some cities, if they could afford to, not only send their board members, but they also send, not only send their staff members, but also their board members. So you might see, for an example, the city of Waycross sent their executive director and all of their board members. So all 7 came. So that was very good for them that they were able to send all those folks to come to Douglasville.
Well, one of the things I noticed, and it was a good idea because you didn't have to pay any travel expense, that a lot of your boards and authorities of the various departments that you just mentioned participated in a lot of that training. And I think that was an excellent idea, and we certainly want to thank those people for taking their time out of their week to come and participate. I think it was important.
Oh, I think so. This is in a lot of cities, especially small cities that are working on a smaller budget, because they may not be able to afford to send their either staff members or board members to various trainings throughout the year. This is the one conference that they send their staff members or board members to, because they know this is an opportunity to get an all-inclusive type training. So it was a big deal for us to host it, because we probably saw people that don't have an opportunity to travel anywhere throughout the year, and this is their one time they traveled and they came to Douglasville.
And you know, Marcia, the other thing, you mentioned an opportunity to travel. It was an opportunity for us because not a lot of people travel to Douglasville for these type statewide conferences. So it was an opportunity for Douglasville to showcase what a great community we have. And not only that, but I'm told that it brought in additional revenue to the city that we wouldn't have otherwise had, and that's to be expected when folks are eating in our restaurants and staying in the hotels. But do you have any idea what the financial impact on our community was?
Typically what we ask, and when I say we, the Georgia Downtown Association asked all the participants in the conference to tally up their receipts and turn that number in at the end of the conference. And the total amount in the 4 days was approximately $34,000. Now, keeping in mind that some people didn't turn in any receipts or some people left a little bit early, we feel like that's a very good number. We feel like we can at least get about 60% of what the true total is.
Sure.
So from Tuesday to Friday, we made $34,000, and that's coming from the hotel night stay, the restaurants that they ate in, and maybe they went shopped at the mall, even got gas. So that actually is included in that total as well.
So that's $34,000 that the merchants actually collected that can be attributed to these folks being in town.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it was a big event, and I know that no one person or even group of people can pull something like this off. Of course, you were heading everything up, and you were coordinating everything. And I know you were glad when it was over with because it was a lot of stress. But can you tell us a little bit about how the event functioned? I know you had some vendors in, and you had people that were, I assume, sponsors and those kind of things?
Typically what happens when the request comes in for a local city to host the event, the local city hosts the local event, so the evening and the social functions. Then DCA steps in and they take care of paying for all of the speakers. They pay for some of the things that the city typically wouldn't pay for, such as the alcohol or different things that municipalities wouldn't want to do. But the local governments, they host the outside activities. For instance, we had a lot of the sponsors and volunteers come to the Wednesday night reception at the CAC. The city hosted that. We paid for the catering, for the food, for everybody to come out and to have fun. But during the day, Wednesday for the classes, DCA took care of the cost for the speakers to come in, took care of the cost to house these speakers in these various areas, because we had them all throughout the downtown area. And then, of course, we're responsible for having the volunteers to say, hey, here we are, we're in this location, we're here. So there's a lot of coordination that we needed to do, because we have a lot of people in the area who've never been to Douglasville. We may say, oh, downtown's not that big, but when you're new to an area and you're not sure where you're going, it helps to know that there's a local person who will be in each location saying, hey, this is where this is located, this is where this is housed, this is how you get to and from your hotel room. So we're responsible for everything local, and DCA is responsible for the training aspect of everything.
I see. Well, I attended your closing session, which this convention actually brought in Barbara Dooley. She did a wonderful job in the closing session. It was a very good motivational speech and presentation that she made, and it's kind of a rare opportunity to have that happen in your city. We're certainly grateful for that.
Yeah, and that's definitely the big thing of having this conference, is because DCA and GDA can usually pull in some big speakers, and the fact that Barbara Dooley was here, that not only gave the conference attendees a chance to see her, but people here in the community, the local merchants, we did ask them to say, hey, you guys are hosting this, you're helping us host this through either volunteerism or through sponsorship, so come on out and hear her speak. This might be the one and only opportunity to hear her speak. So I think that a lot of the merchants were very pleased to get that opportunity.
Well, Marcia, I certainly, from a personal standpoint and from the city's perspective, would like to thank you for the wonderful job that you did personally. Your staff, I know they were everywhere, because I could see the red shirts that they had on and the volunteers had on. They were everywhere, all over town, and so were the members of your boards and authorities and just volunteers that are on the various committees. So I would like to personally thank you and all of those for the wonderful job that you did. You did a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and of course I appreciate that, and the volunteers know I've thanked them endlessly, because we couldn't have done it without everybody pulling together. Well,
thank you for joining me today, and please stay tuned, because the City TV did a lot of filming into various events during the week, and we're going to have a short segment at the conclusion of our conversation today. So please stay tuned for the rest of the Ask the Mayor program.
is my pleasure to welcome you to Douglasville and to say we are so grateful that we see so many GDA faces in the audience.
Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up and it knows that it must run faster than the fastest lion or it will be killed. And every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up and it knows that it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle. To stay competitive in today's retailing climate, when the sun comes up, you better be running. So there you go. Thank you very much.
But why? Why bother? Why do we care at all about branding? Well, a great brand means never having to justify your prices. Or even explain yourself. Or even write your name. Great brand signals who's the best, gives you a competitive edge, a public face, and a legacy that endures.
Now, doesn't it make you feel great when somebody says they love you? Just think about it. If you called home and said, look, I don't have but a minute, but I love you, just wanted to say that, your husband, you'd think he was having an affair. Right? All right, let's go. Sing it with me. Come on. I just called to say, all right, I love you.
Check it out, man.
What is that?
It looks like someone's belly. Probably lost it walking on the beach.
Man, just leave it. Let's go.
City Manager Bill Osborne. My City TV is great communication.
Thank you for joining us on today's Ask the Mayor program. Georgia Cities Week is certainly important to us here in the city of Douglasville. So please join us again on the next edition of Ask the Mayor.